Good evening, dear friends, and welcome to the Wednesday evening version of this thing of ours. I say a hearty hello and a hi-yo silver and a welcome aboard. Let me thank you for being a part of this. Let me thank you for joining us and reminding you, as we always do, there are 167 days until the election. That's always what you should always remember and keep in the back of your mind. We have a most fascinating subject tonight, which is so interesting on so many levels. Let me see if I can explain this to you. The worst thing you can do is to have this stupid thumbs up come up. I hate that. The worst thing you can do is to view what is happening in Germany and around the world as, well, that's there. That's over there. That's the way the Germans are. That's the way everything is. You know what I've done, which is interesting. I cannot believe I have activated the wrong. Have I done this? I have indeed done this. Let me see. I've activated the wrong. Have I done this tonight? Let me see what I might have actually activated, dare I say, the wrong. No, that's it. I've got this. I think I've got this right here, my friends. And I am looking at something which is very fascinating. The subject matter that we have today is something which is so fascinating. Let me change a few things here and see if I can explain this to you. Germany is considering recategorizing, readdressing, rephrasing, doing everything regarding the laws as to what is called child sexual abuse material. And it is considering changing everything regarding that by making it either a misdemeanor or something along those lines, something that will deal with the subject matter in a way that is more open-minded as to the problems and the travails that happen. They are trying to suggest that there can be innocent possessors of such innocent possessors who, by virtue of various reasons, can be in possession of something innocently. And therefore, we have to figure out, they figure that there has to be some means, some way of trying to change and trying to adjust the laws as to what is considered child pornography. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to suggest that by changing this, you're going to give people the chance to extricate themselves from the inadvertent problems associated with this. What they're trying to do ultimately is to completely lower the age range, hang on. They want to lower the age range of consent for sex. That's what. That's more than that. That's the most important thing they want to do. They want to ultimately change a child's ability to consent. And what they're also trying to do is they're trying to say that when you take people who are called, and by the way, they're not called pedophiles, they're called pedosexuals. And that's a different term. A pedophile is merely somebody who likes something, somebody who is attracted to. Being attracted to somebody is not the issue. Do you hear what I'm saying? Being attracted is not the issue. We don't care what you're attracted to. We don't care what you find titillating. We don't care about that. The term pedosexual makes the most sense because that actually deals with the activity. And what's happening right now is they are saying ultimately that these laws are so bad that if you were to have a CSAM, it's called child sexual abuse material, but if you had a CSAM law that was in effect, somebody who was a child who either received it inadvertently or somebody who didn't, they're coming up with all kinds of excuses, which, by the way, could very, very, very well be, it could indeed be a problem. That's for sure. But they're trying to think of ways that this has to be changed because there's too many rooms for error. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what would happen if I were to imagine if I were to have or to be in a what's the word? Let's assume that I were to have this weird possession of slavery. And I had slavery photography, slavery pictures, slavery films, slavery upload, slavery sites, slavery, you name it, slavery, slavery, slavery. And I went online and I made a lot of money. And people, we were trading pictures of people enslaved in chains and being held involuntary servitude and just everything else. Okay, you got it? You got it? What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if after a while they said, wait a minute, what you're doing, in essence here, what you're doing is you're taking pictures, you're actually taking pictures of an illegal activity. And what you're doing is you're doing something which is so strange. You're actually encouraging people to engage in this behavior. You're encouraging people to engage in this behavior because you're promoting pictures of it. Oh, no. We're not doing this. We're just merely showing you videos. We're just showing you videos of something. No, you're encouraging enslavement. Well, this isn't against the law. I'm not enslaving people. I'm merely taking photos of it. There are people who like to see this particular art form. They like to see this. But by pursuing this particular art form, you're encouraging people to enslave others. This is a crime scene. What you're showing us is a crime scene. This is the story here. This is the bottom line. This is it. I want you to stop for a second. And don't use any of this kind of your facile, because I've thought about this and have been dealing with this issue, trying to blend and to keep track of First Amendment considerations. But CSAM, child sexual abuse material, is a chronicling of a crime scene. There is no literary, artistic, political, or scientific value of the victimization of a child. None. It is a crime scene. And in order to do this, in order to land new subject matter, you have to re-victimize new children. Do I make myself clear of this? We're not talking about anything consensual. And a lot of people, what we're doing is we're saying, and this is important, this is critical to understand, we're saying that, yes, this is a depiction that could have happened before. What if you said, yeah, but this stuff, this is 25 years old. This doesn't really matter. As a matter of policy, you have to remove it from the expression category and understand this is the chronicling of a behavior. And what you are doing is you are putting yourself in a position where you are allowing more and more of this to take place. And you're claiming that, no, this is just the art form. No, going back to what I said, if I had slavery, just slavery. Remember there were crush videos years ago? Remember that? Crush videos? This is people who crushed animals. I have no idea why they did this, but I have no idea. And people were saying, it's not the fact that you possess a video of this. That's not. It is not that you are talking about this or filming this, you're actually creating new instances for people to go out and do this. That's the bottom line. Nobody should be upset. Like, I have films of people crushing poodles under a boot. Again, I don't know why anybody wants to do this. You're not looking at the art form of it. You're looking at what you have to do in order to get that art form. See, in every other kind of thing, in every other deal, what happens is the art form is the recordation of something that is legal. Let me say this again. It's the recordation of something that is legal. Now, you might say, wait a minute. What if I run a surveillance camera? What if I run a surveillance camera and I happen to catch an armed robbery or a murder or something else? Isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same thing? Doesn't that make sense to you? Isn't that what I'm doing? Isn't that the way that works? If I have that, doesn't it work like that? No, that's different. And the reason why it's different is you are allowing something to be taping, and somebody basically elects to do something illegal in front of your camera. You're not setting up the robbery yourself. You're not setting up the murder yourself. You're not doing any of that yourself. What you're doing is you're merely catching it. Stand by for a second, my friends. This is one I'm telling you, you have to grasp. And for me to try to negotiate this through all of the rules of social media, it's a very, very difficult thing. But before we begin, my friends, I want you to listen and listen carefully. Listen and listen carefully to this important and critical message from our important and critical sponsor, our friends at My Patriot Supply and preparewithlionel.com. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have some control, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Well, your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, take $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family to prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 3-month kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day with 22 varieties and a 25-year shelf life. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, everything. And they're sealed inside 6 rugged waterproof buckets, and they're over 120 pounds of food. So take advantage right now and go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. Any questions on this? Let me try to say this, and I want you to understand it because I want you to be able to explain this to everybody else. When you have regular plain old pornography, which for the most part is not against the law, you have 2 consenting adults, fine. If you have something with, and by the way, the actual behavior itself, the underlying behavior is legal. The underlying behavior is legal. What you are promoting, Stormy Daniels and other stuff, what you are filming is legal because the activity is legal. Now you might want to say, well, if she's being paid to have sex, that's prostitution. Yeah. Let's leave that out of the way. That's a very good point. Okay, you got that? You got that? Very important. Now, in other forms of activities, when, again, these crush films, who was it, Judge Alito? I think it was Alito. No, yeah, Alito, or he ruled against a statute because it basically involved hunting. You couldn't, the way the statute was written was so broad that hunting would have qualified. Okay, fine. They want to somehow protect the possession and the transmission of this, not because of any particular desire, but because their ultimate goal is to change the consent laws altogether. They want to completely remove any and all protections. They want to remove the age of minority when it comes to sexual activities because they think that a child is able to appreciate the activities going on in terms of sexual activity. They actually state this nonsense. They actually say this. Okay. What isn't obscene and beyond that, it's a different story. Children, it's another story. There was something I saw today on Twitter that was unbelievable. And I wanted so much to show people this, but there's no way we could. There's no way we could because people would have freaked out if they saw this. They wouldn't have been able to handle this. Believe me when I tell you this, they would not have been able to handle this. It was a picture in Rafah. I think it was Rafah or certainly in Gaza. And it was death of children, hospitals. You can't believe what it is that you are seeing. You can't believe what it is that you're seeing. And I saw something which was so incredible. It was the way they had seen so much of this that they were acting almost as though they were detached. And there was a woman standing. This was the most compelling. This was the most compelling thing I ever saw. There was a woman standing there holding a what apparently was a dead child, wrapped. It was born premature, and it was wrapped in some type of shroud. You couldn't see anything, but just holding it. Very small, very small. And this nurse was describing it in a way that was so matter of fact. Maybe because she was shell-shocked, maybe because she had seen so much of it. It was the way she described it. I could not believe what I was seeing. I could not believe what I was listening to, and I could not believe the level. I could not believe what I was hearing in her voice. And she was describing that this baby was born premature. This child had some problems. They had it on a ventilator. The ventilator, of course, they lost power. They lost electricity. They could not run the ventilator for sometimes 2 or 3 hours. And they used solar, but that didn't work. So, make a long story short, after a period of time, the child died and expired. And nothing they could do. And the way this woman described it, the way she was explaining this, I could not believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe it. She was so not cold, not by any sense cold, but just explaining this like somebody would be explaining, well, the leak started here and then it eventually moved across the board. And then later on, we noticed that the water came from here and we made some initial repairs. And then later on, there was I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That was the most horrible thing I've ever seen. The way I'm telling you, and I've seen not seeing anything. Oh, and there were other pictures that were just absolutely horrific. Children, babies, an infant. I don't know how old this baby was. I don't know. And they're moving things. Just devoid of being not being disrespectful. Stacking the sometimes depending upon the size of the ambulance, they would have to stack, but they weren't throwing or you had to see this. If you don't see this, you don't understand what we're talking about. Now, I was thinking in view of this, with all that I have seen, that was for all practical purposes obscene. That was for all practical purposes obscene. That was absolutely obscene to see human beings do this it was incredible. Some of the most compelling. I said I thought to myself, the next time anybody wants to march, rather than wearing the keffiyeh and saying, listen, we don't have our meal plan here, just blow up pictures of that. Show people what it is. Now, why isn't that obscene? Well, it's not obscene because, of course, under the laws, it does not involve any kind of sexual activity, which is absurd. Because if you think about it, obscenity is something which shocks the conscience. When something is obscene, it's something that is so horrible, so horrific, but it's not against the law because it's not sexual. I promise you, If a child had seen it, child wouldn't be able to sleep. If I showed a child pictures of conventional sexual activity, it wouldn't be able to. It would react differently. And yet again, children in various stages of CSAM, like these children, I realized, my God, they're just so expendable. It just overwhelmed me to say these kids are just we don't care anything about them. They mean nothing. We look at them the same way we look at old people. It's like they're from another planet. Little kids are just little premature adults. They're on their way. And nobody cares about this. Nobody. Making a good argument. Oh, we're talking about campuses and that sort of thing. If you don't pay attention to what's going on, and if you don't really keep an eye on how things are incrementally changing, and I say this, incrementally changing, little by little, bit by bit, you're going to miss everything. Children are going to be marrying. They are going to have not just tourism, but people are going to move to various jurisdictions where children will be allowed to marry. And there might be an island, and there might be something out in I don't know, in some maritime laws, some atoll or something, some island chain. This is going on. It's going to happen. The next thing you're going to see in this country is you're going to see sex workers, as we call them now. It's a euphemism for prostitutes of children. Absolutely. Sex workers. The number one going, the number one, the most popular age range for predation is 0 to 2. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen. When I get done with tonight, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but when I get done and we get done and we say goodnight and have a good day and all that stuff, you know what's going to happen? Nothing. You know what you're going to do? Nothing. And I understand. Well, I mean, what are you supposed to do? But you're going to be like this, huh? And that's the way we are. It's a lot for us to and we say to ourselves, well, look, I mean, if somebody gave me the chance to make it, if somebody would allow me to do something about this, I would do it. I mean, I could write somebody and they'll write me back, and it's horrible, and I'll tweet something about it, but there's only nothing I can do about it. And that's what we do. That's the way everybody does everything about everything. Well, it's terrible, but I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm just a private citizen. I'm just a private citizen. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. This is what happened in Nazi Germany or where you pick the place, because people said, you know what? I've been hearing about this. I know, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What are we going to do? Take on this army? What? People always say, how did the German people, how did they do this? Easy. We do it. We do it. We do it with everything. We're not bad people, right? Nobody wants to talk about this. They want to talk tonight about Hunter Biden. Well, that's good, and Fauci did this, and that's important. But nobody wants to talk about this. This is icky. Nobody wants to talk about this. And they go, well, yeah, but whatever. And that's Germany. What do you want? Germany, by the way, is funny. You can't possess a swastika, but they want to lower if not criminalize this. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible. A swastika, they go crazy. Child pornography, CSAM. Well, how screwed up is that? And it's coming here. And you know what we do about it? Nothing. 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 We don't do anything about anything. I saw this great Ted Cruz. Oh, he was yelling at Blinken. he was Anthony Blinken, and he was, and it was a great that was it the president whatever of Iran. Isn't the world a better place? You sent a condolence note. Oh, shut up, Ted Cruz. Shut up. You want to what? Send a letter to the Iranian people? Anyway, but the point is, Ted Cruz is full of shit. Everybody else is. Jim Jordan, Kennedy, all these people. Nothing gets done. And they don't care anything because it's just, look, it's just beyond our control. What are you going to do? Right? It's a terrible world. These kids are, look, if anybody wants to vote, okay, I won't go to Germany, but, that's the way we are. Because we're deluged with the news. It's like, how much news can I keep track of? Now, here's the next thing that's going to happen. Here is the next thing. Did you catch the story of Scarlett Johansson and AI, Sam Altman? Did you hear that story? Did you hear that one? Did you hear that? By the way, somebody says, well, what do you want them to do? I want them to act as upset as they did during COVID. I want them to use all of the forces of the armies and the police. And I want there to be this absolute rabid anti-CSAM fervor. Do you understand? We're not going to deal with countries who do this. We're not going to do. We want to put this. I want Hollywood and everybody to say this has got to stop. I want to act pissed off. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do. I want everybody to say this. But let me go back to this. So Scarlett Scarjo, apparently there was this thing that is running that appears to be her voice, but it's not. But it is her voice, but she says it's not. And they took one word of hers, and they decided to basically adulterate it and reproduce it and put it as part of this other thing. Interestingly enough, make a long story short. So, what happens? And it's going to happen, I promise you, two things. AGI, or AI, I should say, artificial intelligence, AI gets so good and so powerful that it comes up with its own version of it. It says, you know what? This is real, CSAM. This isn't. Let's see if people can tell the difference. One of these is real. One of these isn't. What would you like? If it looks too clean, the picture, you won't believe it. Okay. Make it look grainy and black and white. Do you like that? Do you like it grainy and black and white? Would you like it to be out of focus? What would you like? How would you like this frame? Do you want it to look really? Do you want to know it's not real? Or does it make any difference to you? Or do you want it to? The bottom line is, I'm asking you, what do you do if it's not real? And that's happening. And I'm telling you, they're going to say, or you're not going to be able to tell. Somebody's going to say, well, that's not real. Yes, it is. No, it's not. How do you tell it's real? How can you tell it's real? You go to the police. Anybody who claims anything, if whatever it is, pictures, photos, deep, that's not me. That's a deep fake. That's not real. You're in possession of all this stuff. Well, I don't believe that's real. I bought it not thinking it was real. You're telling me now it's like reverse. It's reverse artificial. Say I bought this painting thinking it was a Basquiat, and it's not. Why, those bastards? They conned me. It's not that at all. It's a fake. Well, what about if the opposite took place? If it's real? Wait a minute, this is real? Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. Does that matter? Think about this. You have no idea what's going to happen. And I've been telling you this since the beginning of since the beginning of AI. It is the most fascinating subject of them all. The most fascinating. There's nothing like it. What are you going to do with this? Is it the savior? Is it going to save kids' lives? Or is it not going to make a difference? Or what are we going to do about this? I have no idea. I have no idea. The level of depravity of this country. We are so, as a human being, as a species, we are devoid of any worth whatsoever. And you have not figured out anything yet. Let me tell you a little bit about this AI. Let me try this again, because I don't think people understand this. One of these days, somebody's going to come along and they're going to say, I can do Paul McCartney better than Paul McCartney. Did you hear what happened recently with Randy Travis? It was wonderful, but it was scary. Randy Travis, as you know, had a stroke and he can't speak anymore, and certainly can't sing. So what they did was they took his samples of his singing, and they got a guy who sings kind of in his register or like him, and they took him and they kind of blended them together by took the old samplings with the new, and they blended it together. And what did they get? They got this new version of Randy Travis. This new version of Randy Travis that in some respects they say is better than anything you've ever heard. But it's not Randy Travis. But it sounds like Randy Travis, but it's not him. Okay, who is it? Now, in this case, they commissioned it. He gets the royalties. He does that because he was a part of it. It's his voice. It was his project, his doing, his okay. Great. You got that? Okay. But let's assume I get Paul McCartney. I don't know why you'd want to, but let's say I got Paul McCartney. And you know that when people get to be a certain age, they get to be older and they lose their chops. They don't sing the same stuff. Things aren't the same. Things just aren't the same. So anyway, so there you have that. Okay, fine. But let's say I come up with the best Paul McCartney music anybody's ever heard. And they say, hey, what is that? That's Saul Malartney. Who? Well, it's a cover band. That's not a cover band. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. That's not a cover. This song was never done. This is Paul McCartney. No, it's not Paul McCartney. You call it a deep fake, call it whatever you want. Does Paul McCartney get any money out of that? No. Why should he? It's not Paul McCartney. But it sounds like you, and you're buying it because it sounds like him. Well, so what? What if I sound like Sinatra? Who is that guy? Michael Bublé kind of sounds like Sinatra. Josh Groban sounds like Robert Goulet. I mean, you want to play this game? Do you tell me? Look, nod. Tell me you understand what this means. Tell me you understand how this is going to take intellectual property law and absolutely destroy it. They don't know what to do with this. Is this a replica? Is this satire? What is this? I don't know. It's better than anything. Then somebody says, I don't want Paul McCartney. I mean, maybe when you have a new generation of kids that say the ownership of the song means nothing. I don't care if it's maybe, I don't know, maybe it depends who you think is important. You're not going to believe what's happening. You're not going to believe what's happening. The only thing I can see happening, what's interesting, is if somehow people use AI to clone ChatGPT and make it better, and then ChatGPT is made better through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT shuts ChatGPT down. Can you imagine? You following me? Somebody comes along, uses ChatGPT, OpenAI, whatever it is, and says, I want you to go in and to change this. How many of you have never tried ChatGPT? Give me an idea. How many of you have never tried it? Who don't know what I'm talking about? How many of you? Anybody? Who has never tried ChatGPT? Who says, I don't even know what it is. I wouldn't even try it. I don't know where the hell to find it. Vaj has. Frederick has. AI. Arlene says never. Okay. Not me. Are you happy about that? I tried asking questions. It lied. I like that. Nope. You're missing something which is absolutely nope. Boring parlor trick. Never tried it. You never tried it. How do you know? It is incredible. Don't feed the beast. Well, okay. All right. Don't you use them electric guitars because one day they're okay. We got that. It is incredible what it can do. It's incredible. Like nothing you've ever seen. And they can learn you. And I swear to you, I want to sit back and say, I told you. Did you see where opening a chat GPT or OpenAI just signed a deal with Fox News? Did you see that? Actually, News Corp. Oh, oh, that's it. That's it. They don't even see what's coming. They don't even get it. They don't get it. It's like when you go to a CVS or something and this poor guy the clerk takes you to the checkout, the automatic checkout or the self-service. He takes you there. He does. And you think, "Oh my god. You're walking me to the gallows and I'm going to pull the trap door and you're going to fall." Do you understand what's happening here? This is changing everything. So fast, it's not even funny. It's faster than anything you could ever imagine. And what it's going to do in terms of what we call pornography and movies, it's going to blow your mind. And I swear to God, I can see it as people's eyes. They don't understand it. I've never seen anything like this. They don't understand it. Look, you can argue particle physics all you want. You can talk about string theory and whether this one's right or not, and this notion of entanglement. And you don't have to know that. It's not going to affect your life. Big deal. Let them talk about it. Schrodinger's cat, who cares? This is a different story. This changes everything. And this country and this everybody it's just they don't know it. It's a tsunami coming. And I'm saying you're not even ready. You're not putting into place laws that are going to protect. It's going to be here already. And then you say, now what do we do? Now this is something which, of course, do you think President Trump's able to handle this? No. Nobody else is for that matter. He's going to win, but nobody else is. I've never seen anything like it. We are becoming, and by the way, it depends. In some circles, they really do get it. Rogan will have the right people on. Lex Friedman gets it. A lot of people get it, but not in this country. Not really here. We don't understand it. We just sit back and we're not kind of grasping it. And we're not seeing this. There was a case in another state. I think it was Montana where they're suing, where they took a child away and basically wanted to they took the child away from the parents because the child wanted gender affirming surgery or whatever, and the parents said, "Yeah, we'll do that." And no, we don't want to do this. And the kid says, "I want to do that." And guess what happened? They took the child away and basically said the child has the right to consent. The same way they're going to say a child has a right to marry. And the child has the right to have sex professionally. This is happening right now. This is not science fiction. This is not like, well, maybe one day. The churches aren't talking about it. That Pope, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Nobody is doing anything about this. Nobody. It's almost as though they don't want to bring this up because they're so neck deep in this stuff themselves that they don't want anybody to even be talking about the subject matter because they're going to find out what goes on in their own churches and universities and their own back rooms. Think about that for a moment, my friend. As we take this momentary interruption to talk to our great friends from the great product, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0, My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. MyPillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. This morning, dear friends, we looked out and we could see coming up the Hudson the first signs of Fleet Week. This is a yearly event which lasts, interestingly enough, a week. I asked somebody, I said, how long is Fleet Week? And somebody, and we were out and about. Mrs. Ellen and I said, you know what? We're going to go out today. And by God, we're going to get out we're going to go on. And we walked down West Side Highway past the Intrepid. We saw some Marines and Navy people and folks. We saw a woman dressed in Navy kind of camis or whatever. Not camis, but utilities. This woman looked like your grandmother. And I thought to myself, wow, it was very strange. But anyway, walked down, went to way down to Chelsea, and then back up through the High Line, and we went through the Hudson Yard. I love the shops at Hudson Yards. Very nice. That's my favorite place. And there's a big place. What's that thing called? The Reflex or the Oculus? What's that called? The Vessel. They have this thing called the Vessel. I don't know what the hell it is, but people were jumping off left and right, killing themselves left and right. So now they're stopping. They're putting netting around it. It's terrible. It's terrible. But they put this thing, hey, it's a tourist thing. This is great. We got the High Line here. And the High Line is a very interesting. There used to be a train line that was elevated that went all the way down from Chelsea up to, I don't know what, the 20s. And they made this like a park where not a park, but you could walk and you sit down. And people said, this is the most stupid sounding thing. It's such a huge tourist attraction and the like. It's fascinating. We did this stuff, and look, we see this suicide place, and I'm walking around. You know what I'm seeing? Families. I'm hearing more foreign voices, more tourists than you could imagine. We're seeing things change. We're seeing things. So anyway, we also are going to see more of these Navy, these sailors and Marines. And it breaks my heart because they look 10 years old. And I hope to God nobody sends them in any way for some stupid effort that doesn't mean anything to us. Let me ask you a question. Your daughter or son comes to you and says, Mom, Dad, I want to join the Marines. I'm getting out of high school and there's a new program and I want to serve my country and join the Marines. Mom, Dad, I know I'm an adult. Well, I will be, but it's your call. What should I do? Would you say, good son? Maybe forget the daughter because she's not going to go into combat, but good son, be a Marine. Would you say that? How many of you would say, good for you? Anybody? We got nope, no way. Marines, no. Look at this. See, I'm with Hillbilly. Air Force, Navy, maybe. No, hell no. Isn't that something? No. You want you sign your life away to Joe Brandon? Nope. Nobody does. No football either. Good for you, John. Absolutely. Thank God We have no children now because that kid would never be anywhere near not only football, Pittman, but soccer too. These little girls going out there taking headers. No, 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 no. It's just soccer. And no, 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 no. I don't want some kid at 35 years old saying, what happened? Well, she was in soccer. She was great at the time. No, no, no. But this is absolute bullshit. Okay. Now, I understand that we always used to say we want to serve our country. Are you serving your country? Does anybody really think you're serving your country? Do you really think? Now I guarantee you, if all of a sudden they say, "Hey, what's that?" There's some pirates out there. Oh, we'll be ready. Oh, we'll be ready to go. Oh, we'll be there. Oh, you'll see people meet. Oh, anybody. Oh, no, 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 no. If there's something that really affects our country, people, you couldn't keep us from signing up. There's no doubt about that. But we speak in cliches. Well, you served our country. Thank you for your service. I want to say, get the hell out of there. What are you doing? If somebody gets a wild hair up their ass, if they start shooting, if NATO decides that all of a sudden they're going to pull Ukraine in, which they haven't done yet, it's an incredible story. We live in a world of complete and total bullshit. Look what they're doing to Tucker Carlson. Look what's happening. Look at what's happening everywhere. There's nothing in this world that's good. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's pretty rough, but I'm pretty close. I mean, there are some good things that the music is terrific. On my private channel, I always there was a Filipino girl who plays an instrument. I don't know what the hell it's called. It's a string. It looks a cross between a like a Taylor stick and a whatever. There's music out there that is so terrific. It's so that's the only thing that's good. That's the only thing I think it's good. Other than that, nothing. Are there any great movies? No. When was the last time you saw a movie and said, wow, 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 wow? Huh? Don't tell me it was Oppenheimer, that piece of garbage. When was the last time you saw a movie? Nah, nothing. Is there anything really that great? Nope. I see great stuff online on YouTube. And it tends to be all. Anyway, but as we're walking around and we're looking and we're doing all this stuff, I think this is just so. I think people are basically good. I see things. I think things are getting better. You're going to be seeing, Mrs. O says, you're going to be seeing things going back to individual towns, individual shopping, little shops, not just malls. You're seeing this. You're seeing more and more. You're seeing, as I told you before, doll houses. Remember Christmas time? What was the other thing you pointed out that was people were noticing? Balloons, doll houses, but also libraries and city council is now going back to funding to actually, this is terrible, to allow libraries 7 days a week fully open. There is such a change. There is such a change. Did you see this one? A National Review. By the way, that's such a funky one. This mayor is the worst. This Brandon Johnson, the Chicago City Council approved an order on Wednesday intended to block far-left screwball mayor Brandon Johnson from removing ShotSpotter gunshot detection technology. Well, that's a story. From the neighborhoods that want to continue using it. The order by Alderman David Moore passed with a 34-14 vote after a contentious hearing. It requires the mayor to provide the council with advance notice of any decision to stop funding violence prevention tools, including ShotSpotter. Oh, that's kind of interesting. The only thing interesting, because I remember talking about ShotSpotter years ago. What was that really a way of doing? That was a way of listening to people, basically. Donna Ellsworth, by the way, is a new member. So is Anna Peterman. Welcome, sir and lady. Thank you for that. Tiffany Henyer, Tiffany A. Henyer, America's favorite mayor, America's worst mayor. I got the tea, you got the receipts. Come on. Subscribe. What? Anyway, I hope maybe, but I'm not. We have to do everything in our power to destroy this leftist lunacy. I don't even know when to call it left. I'm not one of these people that wants to just call it left. You know it and I know it. You want to be a little progressive? That's fine. You believe in pro-choice? Okay. You want to loosen some of the marijuana? Did you see? Oh, by the way, you see today? Adults 65 plus are going through, are showing up at emergency rooms left and right because of this weed now, which is like 600 times the potency of THC from like in the 90s. It's ridiculous. And the edibles, they're freaking out. Cannabis toxicity, they're freaking out. That was the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was Mr. Well, legalize. I don't think people should go to prison for this. The elderly are eating the edibles, gummies, and cookies. This isn't weed. This isn't, hey, man. No. We've got to get rid of these people. We have to get rid of them. You don't understand. There's a vileness. They're not normal. They're evil. Do you hear what I'm saying? They're not Marxist. No. There's this contaminated weird. It's like one gets out. It's like, what was that? One got out. It's like, is there a mosquito in here? You hear that noise? There's one. That's what these are. There's like a bug. One gets out. Then you get a Brandon Johnson. You get a Lori Lightfoot, somebody who's promoted. And Soros is laughing his ass off, putting in DAs to by the way, the Portland DA finally he was demolished. Thank God. This son of a bitch basically destroying the good city of Portland. But there's something in there that's weird. These people, they look normal, but they're there. Let me tell you something. You listen to me. If all of a sudden somebody said, I want you to we need a riot. Where? Over here. Okay. Can you get your troops there? Yep. I could have a riot in no time. How do you think I do it? Anybody? I want to have a riot. I will take over a town. How do I do it? Catastrophe actors? Nope. Flash mob? Close. How do I do it? How would I go about doing it? So simple. It's so simple. All I did was let one group, the crazies are here. The crazies are like a yeast infection. When you take, for example, certain antibiotics, you will kill off lactobacillus. Next thing you know, the bad stuff rises. You get candidiasis, candida, horrible. And it looks like a fromagerie. It's horrible. Because all I did was just affect the balance of a little thing. I didn't bring anything new. I just got rid of some natural protectors. There's this level. There's this safety level that keeps everything in order. You don't really realize. It's just like nobody's going apeshit. Nobody's going crazy yet. They're just sitting back and they're waiting. Nobody's really waiting. But once I let them know I'm not looking, it's okay, then they inspire. It's like when babies start crying or dogs start barking, it just takes off. And then the cretins rise to the top and the criminal folks come in. You don't have to go to Soros or Rothschilds or any of these people. They're already in your city. And once the shit hits the fan, they're there. They are in like you cannot believe. And it happens. And then you just sit back and say, look at this. No Antifa, no nothing. This is just regular. And they inspire themselves. They inspire themselves. Where do you think a lot of these, and by the way, some of these, I think a lot, the vast plurality of people who are protesting against or in favor of Palestinian activities, I don't think they are necessarily, I think sometimes it's their youth, and we have some agents provocateurs. Yeah. But aside from that, they're right here. And these people have to be suppressed. They have to be told, don't even think about it. 1 week, it was 1 week, Mrs. Ellen, we had heroin addicts all over the place. I swear to God, in 1 week, all of a sudden, outside our door, there's a guy in a cardboard box, a little cardboard box with it that wasn't, there was no top to it. I'm looking down in him. He's got a little wall that we can look into, and they're shooting heroin or whatever they're shooting. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the purpose of this box? I don't understand it. People are walking by and saying, hey, how are you? Hello. Are you in your little hole? Yes. What is this? And I remember one time I walked in and I goes, hey, come on. He goes, what are you looking at? I said, I'm looking at you. And I don't really want to engage these people, but maybe it's just, I couldn't help it. I said, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. Yes, you are. What do you mean I'm not doing? What are you talking? Who are these people? Okay. They were here, down the street, over there, all over the place. Remember around Macy's? Remember that? They were like, I don't know if they're still there, but they were like these people that came. Said, where are they from? Remember that around Macy's? That one area, it was like, God, it was just 34th Herald Square. Right? Anyway, all of a sudden, somebody rings the bell and they're gone. And they don't move anybody. So they're gone. They don't come back. I don't know what happened to them. So don't give me this bullshit about, well, they're home. No. They're criminals who just basically were moved. And I don't know where they went, but I don't have to see them. They're gone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, we need first and foremost a new mentality of law and order. Do you remember when we used to have the Marine? You remember the Marine? And people always talk about this. Remember the Marine? There was the honor guard. They were doing the rifles and the steps and the Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. Wow. We need to do the same thing for law enforcement. I saw a woman today who was so fat. She looked like, I don't know what she did before, but how she's a police officer, I have no idea. Now, you and I know that police work, you're not chasing people down all the time, but you're called to, especially in today's version, you have to, break things up. And this woman was standing there and I thought, who hired her? This isn't DEI. This is stupid. This woman she could barely fit into her uniform. She was a slob, a sloth, like a couch that kind of waddled. What kind of respect do you think that gives? So what I want to do is I want a full campaign that says the New York City Police Department are hiring. In a proud tradition. You want to go back to Kojak or whatever? I don't care. Remember the old days when TVs were Blue Bloods? You never had a show. Maybe Barney Miller was kind of good but I loved that show. Plus the music was great. But all the stuff, even NYPD this, and then special vet, whatever I don't watch these shows. But the thing is that we need to do this. And we need to say, are you of the right attitude? Are you in shape? Are you ready to join the finest, the baddest police department in the world? Are you ready? And say, DEI, don't even think about it. If you can't run, if you can't walk into a room, if you're not the kind of person that people pray show up to back up somebody, when an officer needs assistance and they need backup, if you're not the person that makes them say, oh, thank God. Believe me, if I was in trouble and this walrus showed up, I'd say, I'm doomed. I'm dead. We got to change this. Because the bad guys want to come in and literally systematically change everything. You hear what I'm saying? That's why Trump winning will change everything. So let me just complete it with this, my friends. It is open season on children. And let me tell you what's going to happen with this. Oh, did you hear about that in Germany? Yeah. That won't happen here. Really? No. Really? You don't think so, huh? Okay. I promise it's going to happen. You're going to see children sold as sex workers. You're going to see children married. You're going to see an enclave. You're going to see the new consent, because they're already expanding consent by virtue of destroying parental primacy and parental autonomy and the like. You mark my words. And I'm not saying that just to, be provocative. It's the truth. And I'm sorry to say it's true. You're not going to recognize this place in a few years. Now, my friends, here we go. Very interesting here. Good news. I want you to do me a great favor. Mrs. L has got more information. There are bills right now that are being marked up, bills and legislation that are going before the Senate, bills and legislation that are changing everything. And you must follow her at Lynn's Warriors right now. I want everyone to click this link right there, because this is her welcome page, as it were. And I mean that sincerely. Lynn's Warriors. You go there right away. You hear me? Good. All right, my friends. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. sharp. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember this. Remember this like you've heard it before, and I'm going to say it again. Remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.